first, just want to introduce myself, Tim Steed. I'm the Assistant General Manager at the Orange County Employees Association. Also fortunate to be on the executive committee here for the Orange County Labor Federation. Also an executive vice president for the California Labor Federation, along with Gloria Alvarado, representing 2.1 million workers across the state of California. Welcome to the House of Labor. Yeah, public service has many forms, and you running for office is your contribution to public service. So a big thank you for taking that big leap in supporting our society and our democracy. Great candidates running is great for our community. So I just want to take this time to say a big thank you for running for office. And also, this is about as good as it gets. Just remember this moment, right? Every day, more and more campaign stuff happens. So we're going to enjoy this evening together in fellowship and education. But first, what I want to do, I want to kind of level set real quick and start with kind of some big picture stuff. Now, this is supposed to go like one at a time. You have it now in your packet, all done, so you know where this is going to go. But I'm surprised. I think everyone runs for office and gets involved in something bigger than themselves because they want to do something good in the world, right? So I think to kind of level set why we're all involved in some way, shape, or form, it's to create a world of fairness and justice, right? In this idealized world, if we do everything that we can, there's peace on earth, there's no war in the Middle East, there's no war in Ukraine, everyone is living a just life, it's fair, people have enough, right? So how's one way we could achieve this would maybe be seemingly out of touch goal? Well, we start by building a strong worker-based society here in our country. The way that we can do that is having strong laws that protect workers, a vibrant middle class. We take care of those who have the least. We make sure those at the top are paying their fair share. Worker rights are human rights. Well, how the hell are we going to do that? Well, that's why we have a strong union, or our at OCEA, right? Thank you. I try not to keep turning back to my own presentation, so thank you, Elise. Advance our, by building a really strong union and a strong labor movement is how we can move the needle here in our own country and society. Well, we do that first and foremost at the union level by negotiating strong contracts, or an MOU or a union contract. And that's what you're going to learn about. Bargaining units, the grouping of workers that come together, exercise their workplace democracy. And that's the reason why unions exist. We exist to negotiate and enforce contracts for our members. Everything outside of that is what we build upon. And we have a really strong union. We're going to be able to build strong laws. If we have a strong contract, we build a strong union. Where the union contract comes from is with the issues that are most important to workers. So we're going to enforce and we're going to identify our workplace leaders around those issues. And next on that tier, as you can see, at the work site where we come together, and then of course at the base are workers. So when you kind of level set each and every place, just know that unions exist for that contract. And we don't have a contract without workers and the issues most important to them. And then we can't build a strong worker society with strong unions without strong contracts. So that's just a little bit of level setting. So let's get into where those OCEA workers are in their bargaining units. You should have a little one-pager that might have gone out, a little magazine, and in it, a little cheat sheet there. You can see where OCEA represents workers. We're a public sector union. We represent a primary amount of workers is in the county of Orange. We also represent most, but not all, cities in Orange County. So I know some folks are running in jurisdictions where OCEA represents one or more bargaining units where workers come together to talk about the most important things in their life. And then you want to learn about water. I am your guy. OCEA also has a large footprint in the water department area of the county, right? So if you want to learn also about local government federalism, I too am your guy. So that's where we represent workers. But what kind of workers does OCEA represent? So to give you a basic idea, in the county of Orange, what you're going to see are, social workers, public health nurses, the folks who make sure that our regional infrastructure, parks, beaches are maintained. At the Superior Court, you'll see folks, the support staff, your legal processing specialists, the folks that make sure a courtroom operates. I got news for you, the judge, and court reporters. And then in your city and special district, those are the folks in City Hall or out in your maintenance yard, making sure that your potholes are filled, the streets and lights are working, and again, that your parks are safe and maintained for generations to come. So that's a little bit about where our workers are, a little about what they do, but what are some of the issues that are most important to them? Well, we at our essence are about public service. And you can't talk about public service in this country without also talking about our democracy. So big picture, we protect and maintain the wonderful gifts that our democracy bestows upon us. And I have news for you. It doesn't just magically happen. It's a day by day, hour by hour, lunch pail type of job by people like you and people like our members do every day to hold those in power accountable and to make sure that our society is a place worth living. So the role of government to us is big picture. It's to protect and empower it. It's to, what else I put next, right? To provide resources to the public and also to be for public good, not private profit. So you running for a local office, know that it's not your role to help your community engage into a race to the bottom. It's to uplift everybody and to make sure that there's something hopeful in our community. So as we move on from the role of government, a little, you can go to the next slide. We are going to be dealing with a lot of budgets. So where that's going to manifest itself is there's going to be resources, there's going to be values. I'm a glutton for punishment, so I got to watch sausage get made in Santa Ana talking about their budget, same in Anaheim and Huntington Beach, right? That is very tough decision where resources and values are going to come and impact each other. And there's going to be a lot of competing interests for those values. But what our workers do in trying to protect and maintain the gifts of our democracy are things worth fighting for. So a little bit more about the top issues facing public sector workers and OCEA members right at this moment. Well, recruitment and retention. So a lot of jurisdictions in public service is it's hard work. Right now, the ills of our society to lay those on the shoulders of some public sector workers sometimes is too much. And they say, you know what? This isn't worth it. I'm going to try something else. I'm burned out. So we need to find ways to keep the best and brightest public sector workers so that our communities can thrive. That is directly related to staffing levels and then going to wages and benefits. Previously, the public sector workers are, and this is still a lingering thing, are known for their incredibly great retirements. But Governor Brown and the legislature made some reforms about a decade ago, and that generous benefits a little bit less. So keeping your workers in a long-term position now needs to be augmented with more creative approaches. We worry about contracting out as a result of AI. I'm sure others will talk about it. Artificial intelligence in and of itself is not a nasty thing, but if it's used to replace hardworking community members, then it certainly is a dangerous thing. And then also the existential threat that we see around the country, but is always lingering and around the corner in California, is the existential right to even have a union in the public sector. In states like Wisconsin and states in the South, it's illegal for public sector workers to even collectively bargain about things that are important to them. So these are things that we always must keep in mind. And you running for office at the most local level, some of those attacks happen in your community, at your city level. I'm looking at our Huntington Beach folks, I'm looking at our Costa Mesa folks, right? We know that local attacks on unionization are insidious when they start at the local level. So thank you to our allies too, and all of our cities who have stood with us. Just a few more things, and I got to wrap up. I think I might be on my 10. Uh, Places you can learn more. Go to our website, follow us on social media. There's another great website called In the Public Interest. That's just about privatization, outsourcing, negative impacts on the community. If you're a reader, there's a couple of good books, The Privatization of Everything. And then Rules to Win By, that's just about how to run a good union campaign. And if you know how to run a good union campaign, you'll probably run a really good political campaign in your community. Because there's one thing that the labor movement knows how to do, and that's win campaigns. Yeah. So also in your magazine, just one final thing that'll give you some, that hopefully will help you out. If you turn to page 10 of your magazine, a little bit of a visualization of how kind of all of this works, how individuals come together in their union, the federation, the state federation, all in one attempt to try to build powers, and you kind of see how that works. For those that are interested in seeking OCEA's endorsement, also a little infographic about the kind of how that process works. And I'll be hanging around today. I'm not going to sneak out. So, definitely connect with folks so we can talk more about that. And then finally, on the page 24, your second to last page, just want to make sure you're aware of the anti-union playbook. This is why you all are so important to us, because the strongest thing that can ever protect the worker isn't a law, isn't a politician, it's a union. But we also know when you go after the union through politicians, it weakens us all. So we got to make sure that we elect pro-union politicians, that they're not able to attack our political power, that we're able to keep good pay and benefits so that we can keep union jobs. So I'll be around. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you again for running for office, everybody.